So I've been carrying small portable power banks with me out in the woods and other places like traveling for quite a while now, and they've come in handy a number of times. And while they all work, what I've discovered is with my newer cell phone, they're really slow to recharge. Well, recently the company INIU sent out the P50 power bank, and I got to tell you, this is something altogether different. If you're interested in finding out more about it, keep watching. So before we get started, I do want to thank the company INIU for sending out the P50E1 portable power bank so that I can share it with you. So, this is the third power bank that INIU has sent out to me. First, they sent out this nice big 20,000 milliamp hour unit, and I did actually do quite a bit of international traveling with this, and it came in really handy, and it's still safe or legal to carry on board an airplane. Not so long ago, they sent out this version of their 20,000 milliamp hour portable power bank, and it is faster and smaller. So they've just kept improving the technology. So when they offered to send out this little thing, I was intrigued by it, and I wanted to see what was so different about it. So now this is only a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, but it's got to be smaller, lighter than any of the other 10,000 milliamp hour power banks that I have. But it is much, much faster. So I have been using this for a while now. In fact, I took it with me on a 2-week car camping trip with Gene and I. We go on our annual trip to Kujbakwak National Park, and this is the power bank I took with me. So this would reside in my shoulder bag that we go hiking with, that we go on to our trips to the beach, wherever we go. I usually have this with me so that I can power my cell phone, power my camera, those types of things. And I got to tell you, this is, like I said, really, really fast. I did some testing with it to see just how fast it is, and I'll report that in a few moments' time. All right, what we'll do is we'll just go down to the tabletop. There's not a whole lot to show about this, but I do want to talk about its specifications, just enough to give you an impression about just how fast it is, and then of course we'll wrap this video up. All right, what I thought it would do is just go through a few of its key features before we get into any of its specifications, and then I'll talk about my experiences. So one of the things about this power bank is just how quickly it itself will charge up from another source. So from an empty state, now remember this is a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, from an empty state you can bring it to full charge in 2 hours. Now I didn't have to give it a full charge, but what I was able to do was to confirm just how fast it was charging by using one of my other power banks, and it gave me the draw that this was creating, and it was charging at the rated 20 watts, and that's exactly what the specs call for. Is this will pull 20 watts off of an energy source. So if you do the math, 20 watts and 10,000 milliamp hours, it comes out to roughly 2 hours. So the other thing is that these have a 3-year warranty. Now, I kind of expect you're never going to have to take advantage of that warranty, because I've had the other 2 power banks now, well, the larger one for a little over 2 years, maybe even over 3 years, and I've not had an issue with it, and I have taken it on quite a bit of traveling, so it has never given me any issues whatsoever. So I expect, well, it's nice to know that it has a 3-year warranty. The chances of you actually using it are probably pretty slim. Now, the last key feature about this one, and this is one of the advantages I see on this small power bank too, actually a lot of power banks, is in fact the cord that comes with it. This is the charging cord. It makes for a lanyard, and it is quite secure in this little base. It is a 60-watt fast charge USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable. So this can be used for charging the unit off of another source, or using it to charge something like your cell phone with. Now we'll go through the specs and I'll show you the ports and talk about the delivery in a moment. But this is quite, it's not unique. I've seen other power banks will have cords that go with, but I don't know that any of them are 60-watt rated, and it makes a difference. You've got to have a cable rated to whatever your power draw needs are. All right, let's get into what actually came with it. And there's only 2 things. One is the cable, and in this box, as you might expect, a manual. That's it. So that's all that came with it, because there's not a lot that needs to go with this. It's pretty much self-contained. Okay, now the specs are, as I mentioned, 10,000 milliamp hours of power. It is a lithium-ion battery, rechargeable, obviously. The dimensions, 3.3 in this dimension, 2 inches even in this dimension, and 1 inch thick in this dimension. And the weight, 5.6 ounces. So it has two USB Type-C ports right here, as you can see, and they are both in and out ports, meaning they will deliver energy out for charging something else, but they can also be used to charge the unit up itself. Those two ports are rated at 20 watts in to charge. Now, no, you can't double it up and make a 40-watt charge. It'll only accept one or the other. But they are rated to charge the unit at 20 watts, but they deliver 45 watts. And that is significant, I have to tell you. I own a number of other small 10,000 milliamp hour power banks, and they are smaller, but not a lot. I don't want to give you the impression that this is tiny by any means. It's still got some weight and it's still got some size, but the others are a little wider, a little longer, but maybe not quite as thick as this one. So they've just repackaged the dimensions, but I do have to tell you, the other ones won't deliver the power this one will. 45 watts out is significant, to say the least. And there is a third port, so USB Type A delivery port on this one, not an input, just an output port. So, if you have some older model anythings, I guess, that you want to charge, you still have the capability of charging it as well. Now, I say 45 watts is significant, and it is. As I mentioned, my other ones will deliver 18 watts out, which I thought was pretty good. But 18 watts to charge a modern cell phone, some of the newest generation cell phones, means it will take very long time to actually fully charge it. So you want to be able to get ahead of that charge and get your full charge going. This is the type of power bank you want, something that will deliver high amount of energy. If you don't have a need for 45 watts, then maybe you don't need to look at this power bank. At the same time, why not? Because it's not any more expensive, it's not any more heavy, and I expect that this has even more technology than any of the other. And I have a couple of brand name ones. This is really cutting edge technology in many, many ways inside. Now, I won't go through all of that technology, but what I would invite you to do is use the link that I'll provide in the video description to go to their website, because it's way above my head, much of it, but the chips, the internal technology, the green technology that went into the making and operation of this is just, like I said, cutting edge. I don't think there's another company on the market that's producing power banks of this quality and still maintaining a very reasonable price for it. This can also, in addition to charging things like my cell phone, I did use it for charging my camera a couple of times. My headlamps, headlamps don't draw very much energy, so this won't speed up the process. It'll only deliver as much energy as the item you're charging will accept. So cell phones will accept a lot, and laptops. Now, I did take my tablet with me. I did take my tablet with me, and I did hook it up to my tablets just to see what kind of a charge it will deliver there, and it will recharge the tablet on the go as well. But it is also capable of charging anything like laptops as well, if you have the input port that will handle USB Type-C fast charge. All right, now one of the things about this, and I hadn't even considered that, is the testing they did on the ports themselves for heavy dutiness. Now, that's the one thing that I've had happen to another power bank. It's one of the older ones that I've had for quite a while, is that the cable would start to get loose in one of the ports, and it would lose connection. So it was unreliable in delivering the energy. Now, that came after a considerable amount of use. It didn't happen right away. But INIU has tested these ports for an extended period of time to ensure they're going to remain workable for a long, long time. And of course, if anything ever does happen to them, that's what that 3-year warranty is all about. All right, there's not a lot more to say about this. I guess what I could show you is the screen on it. Very minimalistic. I'm thinking that's probably showing up 98% battery charge. And I'll tell you, I haven't had this long enough to see how long it will hold its charge in just a static storage condition. But I can tell you, the larger of the two 20,000 milliamp batteries, I've had them over a year sitting on the shelf, and they're still showing 100% charge. So they're high quality. They won't drain charges. I've had other power banks that if you let them sit, they drain themselves somehow. So it's good to know that while you probably should check and test and top off your batteries if you are going to be doing some traveling. The chances of needing it is very slim with the INIU batteries. All right, let's wrap this video up. All right, I want to close this video up, but before I do, I just want to make this statement. I recognize that I'm in a very fortunate position that companies are reaching out to me and offering to send me their products to test and review. As a result, I've had the opportunity to test power banks and power stations, but specifically power banks from a number of companies. And I have for reviews for those power banks in my video list if you're interested in seeing them. But consistently, the ones that come across as the highest quality, the most dependable, and the most feature-rich have to be these power banks from INIU. In fact, the one that I currently have in my camera bag that I go out into the woods with is going to be replaced by this one because I know it's going to deliver the power quickly, and it'll always be ready to go. So, and I won't have to worry about it not having the power. I mean, yes, my camera, my microphones, and my headlamps and those type of things don't draw a lot of power, and rarely do I ever run out of power for my cell phone. But it's good to know that this will fully charge my cell phone in very, very short period of time if I ever needed to do that. And that's the comfort that I get from using these. The other thing is the other power banks, including the earlier generation INIU power banks that I have. If you want to carry, you're going to want to have cables, of course, for them. I have to have a stuff sack that I can put the cables in. Now, they came with stuff sacks, and I put a couple of cables in each of them so that I've always got a cable available to me. This is nice, right? This is just going to go in my little camera bag, and I know that I've got a cable with me. Now, I usually have another cable in there as well, but I have at least one cable with me that will always be there, and it's a high-speed cable at 60 watts. So, that's another comfort that goes along with having this power bank with me. All right, that's all I have to share with you about the INIU P50 E1 power bank. I'll put the link for it in the video description as well as all the specs that I have. I invite you to go have a look at them because I think you'll be impressed. If you're in the market for a power bank, then you definitely want to take a look at these before you buy anything else first. Okay, if you have any comments or questions, put them in the comment section below. But until next time, get out and explore and take that path. Let's travel, because it will make all the difference. Bye for now.